Well, what you just heard were views expressed by the National Movement of Electricity Consumers on the crisis that has arisen at several power stations in the country.
We have a comprehensive report coming up on the news. A very good evening. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Arundhati Mudannayak. Now, meanwhile, in the international arena, civil unrest in Ukraine is continuing unabated, with the Ukrainian government and the opposition at loggerheads.
Also, reports coming out of Korea indicate that the family of Jong Sang-taek, the uncle of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, have also been executed a month after Taek's execution.
Well, we have details of all these stories, but before that, here's a look at the stories making headlines.
News First at 9.
New ICC restructuring proposals opposed by former chief. Sri Lanka cricket yet to express its stance on the draft. Inactive power stations are costing the CB in excess of 150 million rupees a day, a claim by the National Movement of Electricity Consumers. Electricity tariffs will not be increased. Deputy Minister of Power and Energy. A protest in Migdenia demanding the release of 6 persons from police custody. Stanislav Wawrinka overcomes an injured Rafael Nadal to win the Australian Open.
There are 10 permanent full members of the Executive Committee of the ICC. All nations that have achieved test status are members of the Executive Committee. However, as per the new proposals, full membership of the EXCO would be restricted to India, England and Australia. The position of President of the ICC will also be open only to these 3 nations. In simple terms, the governance of the world cricket in the future will be as per the prerogative of these 3 nations. Now, against this backdrop, what will be the future of cricket in countries like Sri Lanka, who will lose their full membership of the ICC if these proposals are adopted? Former ICC President Ehsan Mani points out that the new proposals are disadvantageous to all member nations with the exception of India, England and Australia. In a 13-page statement, Ehsan Mani charged the cricket boards of India, England and Australia with completely undermining the integrity and standing of the ICC.
BCCI, ECB and CA say in the paper that they will provide greater leadership and stability to the ICC and its members. In return, they ask the members to hand over power of the ICC board to them. They do not demonstrate how they will do this in any meaningful way. They do, however, plan to make significant financial gains for themselves and completely control the workings of the ICC to the exclusion of the other members.
As of today, India, England, Australia and New Zealand are standing in support of the new proposals. Only South Africa, Pakistan and the West Indies have officially stated their opposition. Zimbabwe has not expressed a stance in either way. Where does Bangladesh stand on this issue? Media reports from Bangladesh indicated that the majority of the Bangladesh Cricket Board had expressed support for the new proposals. According to these media reports, the proposals were passed with a majority of 17 votes at a recent meeting of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. Bangladeshi media quoted a director of the board, Ahmad Sajjad ul Alam, who voted against the proposals as saying that the decision was motivated by the greed of the Bangladeshi Cricket Board. However, the Bangladesh Cricket Board has refuted these media reports. BCB President Nazmul Hasan says that they will decide on the draft based on the response of the other boards.
We cannot take a risk, particularly given the position of our cricket. If our vote doesn't matter, we will probably stay quiet. But if our vote decides the revamp, it will be very critical. What we will do at that stage is something I can only understand once I am at the meeting.
Sri Lanka cricket too appears to be following the line of the BCB, having not expressed an official stance on the draft either way. SLC announced that it had only asked the ICC to postpone voting on this proposal on the basis of giving it more consideration in the future. In its letter to the ICC, SLC has accepted that the proposals in the draft pertaining to financial affairs are beneficial. If this draft is adopted by the ICC EXCO on Tuesday, what will be the future of Sri Lankan cricket? How will it affect the most popular game in the country? More tomorrow.
Sri Lanka will take on Bangladesh tomorrow in the first of 2 tests in Dhaka, Bangladesh tomorrow.
At the pre-match media briefing held today, Sri Lanka captain Angelo Matthews expressed these views.
Be definitely challenging because, as I said yesterday, the Bangladeshis have improved quite vastly in the last few years, and they are going to be very challenging, especially at home as well. So they will be playing good cricket, so we need to play better cricket to win against the Bangladeshis. We played some really good cricket in UAE, except for the last 2 sessions of the last Test match, and that cost us a series. And also we played some very good cricket. All the guys are in good nick, and all the bowlers are in good form. So we hope to continue the same way as we did in UAE and not take Bangladesh lightly at all. And we can't be complacent with a team like Bangladesh because they are a very good team as well at home. And as I said before, they've improved quite vastly, and we need to play better cricket to win against.
News First at 9.
Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said that the police recorded a statement from UNP parliamentarian Mangala Samaravira following a complaint lodged with the police headquarters by a youth from the Ratmalana area.
Now, this youth was arrested on 31st December on charges that he entered the residence of Mangala Samaravira and stole several goods.
After he was released, the youth in question lodged a complaint against Mangala Samaravira at the police headquarters, stating that he was arrested on false allegations.
Police media spokesperson expressed the following views today at a media briefing held in this regard.
We carried out investigations on this incident. At the same time, Panadura North Police recorded a statement from Mangala Samaravira on Friday, during which statements were recorded on issues put forward by the suspect in question. We are hoping to submit information from the statement in court. We are holding investigations to ascertain whether the suspect in question actually stole the foreign liquor and a laptop, as said in the complaint, or whether they were false allegations that were made based on a disagreement between the parties concerned.
Deputy Minister of Power and Energy Premalal Jayasekara says that electricity tariff will not be increased in the face of the crisis over power plants.
The Deputy Minister made this observation while attending a program in Balangoda today.
The Canyon power plant is inactive due to maintenance. The national grid lost 300 megawatts of electricity due to technical failures at the Norichole power plant. The Kalanithissa thermal power plant remains inactive due to fault in the cable that connects it to the national grid. At the same time, the Mavut-Chakali reservoir had to be cleared due to repair work from the tunnel from Canyon to New Laksupana. The 2 power plants remain inactive. In such a backdrop, 28% of yesterday's energy requirement was met by hydropower plants, while 70% was met through power plants that utilized fuel. The balance was generated through wind power plants.
With the breakdown of Norichole, we lose an additional 72 million rupees, and due to the inoperational state of the Kalanithissa power plant, we have to spend 80 million rupees. Accordingly, the CEB has to incur a cost of 160 million rupees per day due to the breakdown of these power plants. We have to use fuel power plants as an alternative. For this, we incur some expenses in generating electricity. Since there was a change in electricity tariffs recently, we are not planning on making any more changes. Last year, the target was to generate 4,400 gigawatt hours of electricity units from hydropower plants. However, at the end of the year, over 600 gigawatt hours were produced extra without any proper management. At the same time, water was just released from certain power plants under the guise of various repair work. Therefore, we are suspicious that certain officials at the CEB are creating such crisis situations in order to purchase electricity at a high cost from private power plants.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa reiterates that children must allocate time for both academics and sports.
The President made this statement at an event held in Kegalle today.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa declared open the new swimming pool at St. Joseph's Girls' School in Kegalle this morning. A sum of 15 million rupees has been spent on the construction of the swimming pool complex. I have placed my trust in you. The future is in your hands. Just as you make time for academics, you must also make time for sport. The defeatist mentality must be changed. We must change the mentality of saying no to everything in our society. We can pass examinations. We ended the 30-year war, which everyone said we could not do. You cannot say no anymore. We must have the self-esteem and ability to reach this position. The President also declared open the Mahindodaya Laboratory at the Galigamuwa Central College, which was constructed parallel to the 2014 Diatricular National Development Exhibition today. The laboratory complex, which was built at a cost of 8 million rupees, comprises of a biology lab, a chemistry lab and a mathematics laboratory.
A meeting of UPFA activists in the Colombo district was held in Colombo last evening.
The meeting was held in the Rajagiriya town. If they are caught bringing ethanol or bringing narcotics, then they are prosecuted. No matter how senior an official they are, the government has the strength to take them to court and punish them. When we are doing this too, some are attempting to attack us as they did during the war. We know that every turn the people have been with us. People who live off narcotics are speaking against catching those responsible. If you feel that there are some things within this government that must be corrected, if you feel that there are shortcomings or delays and flaws that need to be corrected, then this is the best opportunity to do so. The opposition will say that the cost of living is high. They will say that the economy has collapsed. They will say that there is fraud and corruption in the government. They will say that this government cannot go on, and they will ask you if you will continue to vote for this government. First, what capability does the opposition have to correct the mistakes that it points out? In order to do that, the opposition must be organized first. Usually when a government has lasted 17 to 20 years, it becomes difficult. It is the same with marriage at present, isn't it? The first 2 years are good. After about 10 years, it becomes a little difficult. After 12 years, it is very difficult. After about 15 or 16 years, it becomes almost unbearable. That is the way in some marriages. When a government has been in power for an extensive period, it is the same. We must understand this. But is the alternative the thing that we have abandoned? Who is there to rebuild instead of us?
In the international arena, meanwhile, Ukrainian opposition leader Arseniy Yatsenyuk says protest will continue after he rejected President Viktor Yanukovych's offer to appoint him as Prime Minister of the country.
Yatsenyuk said the opposition was generally ready to accept leadership, but several key demands must be met, including new elections.
On the streets of the capital, Kiev, meanwhile, violent protest continues unabated.
Clashes continued overnight. Activists stormed the Kiev building housing police. The president's proposal came amid new efforts to end the deadly unrest. He offered the post of Prime Minister to Yatsenyuk and the position of Deputy Prime Minister to former boxer Vitaly Klitschko, following talks yesterday. Yatsenyuk says that on Tuesday, when a special session of parliament has been called, will be Judgment Day. The opposition is demanding that a free trade agreement with the European Union be signed and political prisoners be freed, including former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko. They are also demanding early presidential elections. A vote is not due until 2015.
Media reports from Korea indicate that the whole family of an uncle of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, Jang Song-taek, has been executed on Kim Jong-un's order. The report originated from South Korea's Yonhap news agency with reference to multiple unspecified sources. Jang Song-taek himself, once a high-ranking official, had been executed earlier.
Yonhap news agency, quoting a source that is aware of the situation in North Korea, said that the entire family, including children, were executed. According to the report, in December, Jang Song-taek's elder sister and her husband, Jong Yong-jin, who was North Korea's ambassador to Cuba, and Jang Song-taek's nephew, Jang Yong-chol, who was ambassador to Malaysia, and Jang Yong-chol's two sons, both aged 20, were called back to Pyongyang and executed. The agency reports that the members of the family who showed resistance against the arresters were killed in front of their houses before the eyes of the neighbors. Jang Song-taek was considered to be the second influential person in the country. In mid-December, 67-year-old Jang Song-taek was charged with treason and executed. Later it became known that Jang Song-taek's wife, Kim Kyung-hui, who is a sister of Kim Jong-un's father, was in a coma because she had undergone neurosurgery. Her fate remains unknown.